Hi, everybody. It's me, Triana, and I am here to go ahead and go through my UDL reflections that I chose to showcase. The first one being my week 0 through 1. I did another s'more. In general, I found myself really gravitating towards the aspects of the class that were creative and allowed us to express ourselves and make things a little bit more unique. So it felt very natural for me to do a s'more for the first reflection that we had. Um, at the beginning, I went ahead and talked about how we prepare for class, and that was through reading the text. I wrote that I was made very aware at the start of class that reading was going to be so crucial to our success. And I found myself reading for nearly 4 to 5 hours a week for the course. And I think that I could have even stood to continued reading or rereading certain chapters as we went along through the rest of the semester because it really was that important. I talked about the activity we did, which was Heart of a Teacher. Um, I talked about how it gave me a lot of perspective about the unspoken aspect of teaching. Um, Not only did this really open my eyes to how to transition from being a learner to a teacher, but then going back into a learner, back and forth. Yeah, I thought that this activity was really beneficial to me. I think it opened up my eyes that week. And being able to do it in a way where we broke it up into segments and then brought it back together as a class was super beneficial for me. An extra thing I added in my s'more was this picture that I drew of the Mecca diagram. We didn't have to add this, I don't believe, but it was something that I had already did, and it really did aid me a lot in understanding this as a concept. So I'm really glad I did this, and it was super helpful for me to look back on. And then a tool that translated well from being the role of a learner to a teacher, I wrote that that was patience. Um, in retrospect, looking on the class, I still think that that is 100% true, and I stick by it. Um, and then the next one that I decided to showcase was again another creative outlet, I guess you could say. This reflection was for weeks 3 and 4, and I did an Adobe Spark video. So I'm going to go ahead and play just a few seconds of this.
Classroom in mind, how can we as teachers use culturally sustaining practices, social justice education, and universal design for learning to teach that classroom in an enriching and meaningful way? Let's take a look at Kindergarten Standard 1. Students understand that being a good citizen involves acting in certain ways. Substandard 1. Follow rules such as sharing, taking turns, and know the consequences of breaking them. Because our imaginary classroom has students of all races and ethnicities, it's important for us to understand that keeping culturally sustaining practices in our classroom is incredibly important. For our kindergartners, they're going to be coming from homes and from backgrounds where there's going to be different cultural rules for everybody. Understanding what those cultures are and how they might view certain rule versus my culture isn't going to be incredibly important. Another kindergarten standard, Standard 3, students met.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of the Adobe Spark video that I made. Not only did I have more fun making it because I got to add fun pictures, and talk off the cuff, which is something I think I do quite well. Yeah, I just thought it was a really creative way to reflect on everything that we had done that week. And for me, it made the most sense, and it was the most concise form that I could present the information in. Plus, this week I did just enjoy the content and getting to make our own little classroom. So that was something that I really enjoyed. And those are the two